friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Amanda. So in today's video, I've got some delicious Thanksgiving side dish recipes for y'all. These were so good, and one of them truly blew me away because I don't know about y'all, but I am a Southern cornbread dressing kind of person through and through. That's what's always been tradition for Thanksgiving for me. But I've tried, this recipe was actually for stuffing made with bread instead, and I wasn't really sure how I'd feel about that. So stay tuned for all my thoughts about that. But I'm excited to share these recipes with y'all, so let's go ahead and get into the video. So let's get started on these Thanksgiving sides. So first we're going to get started on drying out our bread cubes. I've just got some ciabatta bread here. So it's kind of like a ciabatta roll, but it's like a whole loaf of bread instead. And really flavorful bread, so it was really good to use for this. We're just going to cube that up, and then I'm going to dry it in the oven on 200 degrees for about a couple hours. You could also just lay it out on your counter and let it get dry, but I just went ahead and did the oven. And you kind of want it to be the texture, you know, of like croutons, so it's going to be kind of crunchy so it can kind of soak up all of the goodness that we're going to put in it too. So we're also going to get to cooking our sausage. I just used some sausage links that I removed the casing from, and then I just sauteed it or cooked it up in the pan and got that all good and ready, and then drained it on a paper towel lined plate, and then that way we could get that grease out of there. And I've got some fresh sage along with some fresh parsley that I'm also going to use in this. And I've never made any kind of like bread stuffing. I've only cooked cornbread stuffing. You know, I am from the South, so it's like, it's pretty much like that's usually what we have is cornbread dressing. And so I wanted to try something different, and I thought I probably might not like this the best, but I thought I did want to try it. I know a lot of people make like more of like a bread stuffing, but so I kind of wanted to give it a shot and see what I thought of it, and this truly surprised me. It was so delicious. I highly recommend this recipe. So I'll also make sure to link all the recipes below in the description box, so make sure you check that out. And we're just going to go ahead and melt our butter so we can saute up our onions and our celery. And then we'll also add in a shredded carrot, just one carrot. Mine was kind of a larger carrot, so it did end up making quite a bit. And just get this, you know, till it's translucent, and then we'll add in that carrot. And then we're also going to add in our fresh herbs in just a minute, and I'll add back the sausage too. And of course you can season this up like you like it, salt and pepper. The recipe didn't call for any other seasonings other than salt and pepper, and then the fresh sage and the fresh parsley. So those are the only things that it called for. I did not add anything else. I didn't add additional salt either, but I didn't add anything else because I kind of wanted to try it just as it was to see, you know, how it tasted, and then decide if I wanted to add any more. I don't know that I would really tweak anything. I feel like everything pretty well tasted really good. So but definitely, you know, if you try it, you might want to make adjustments based on your taste and everything. I did wonder how this would be with sourdough bread, and I actually want to make this again with sourdough bread because I love sourdough bread. And I do think that's super key for this recipe, is to make sure you use a bread that you enjoy the flavor of, not just regular, like, you know, white bread. You want to use a bread that's very flavorful, and that way you get a lot of flavor from the bread as well. And I was just checking the texture of those there, seeing if they were done. And like I said, they were kind of like crumbly, like, you know, if you had a crouton. And so they were just perfect. We're going to, and I forgot, I added the herbs to the breadcrumbs instead of the pan. And then we add the pan mixture in, and then mix all this together. Now the recipe says to be real careful when adding the chicken broth because you don't want the bread to get soggy. So you do want to add it in kind of slowly, and you do want to start with a smaller amount just to kind of see how much the bread is taking in, and like make sure it doesn't get like soggy. And so I think I know I used a full 1.5 cups of chicken broth. I may have used a touch more. So just, you know, just go by a touch. And that was hard for me because I've never made this kind of, you know, stuffing. So I wasn't real sure, like, you know, how wet it should be. But it does say that, you know, it should be lightly moistened. So it shouldn't be like soggy. And so just use, you know, whatever that gets for your bread. And sometimes it might depend on the bread you use too. So I think it definitely could kind of vary. Now the great thing about this Thanksgiving side dish recipe is that it can be made ahead of time. And I don't know about you, but any side dish recipes like that can kind of be ready to go and we can just throw in the oven the day of is perfect. So we're going to put this in the refrigerator, cover it with foil, of course, before we put it in there, and then we'll bake it the next day. Now next we're going to get started on our cheesy potato casserole. These are also called funeral potatoes. I don't love that name, so I just kind of call them cheesy potato casserole. But we've got some sour cream, cream of chicken soup, some melted butter, some onion powder, and some pepper going in here, and we're just going to mix that together. And then we'll also add in our frozen hash browns, but they are thawed. I did set them out in the refrigerator like the day before and thawed them. And it calls for 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. And so I used a triple cheddar blend just to kind of get that good cheddar flavor in there. And we're just going to stir this up and put it in our baking dish. Now, I actually put this together in about 15 minutes or less the morning before I started work. And then I put it in my refrigerator just like I did the stuffing mix. And I actually baked this later on. So it was absolutely perfect. Again, this is something you could do, and leave in your refrigerator overnight. Anything you can make ahead of time, especially for Thanksgiving or any kind of get-together or holiday like that, it just makes it so much easier the day of so that you're not, in the kitchen constantly. You can actually enjoy time with your family too. So now we've pulled our stuffing and our cheesy potatoes out of the refrigerator. We're just going to make a topping for the cheesy potatoes. I almost started to say tomatoes. Cheesy potatoes with cornflakes and melted butter, and you're just going to spread that on top. I did actually use a little extra cornflakes because I love the crunch, the texture that it gives to that. And so these are going to bake at 350 degrees. The cheesy potatoes need about an hour, and pretty much the stuffing just about does too. It's essentially like 30 minutes you bake covered, and then you uncover it and bake another 10 to 15 minutes. So it's pretty much the same for both of them, pretty similar anyways. I think I did leave all this in about an hour close to. And then we've got a boneless turkey breast from Sam's Club. I love those things. They're so good. And so I just baked it along with that. Now we're going to go ahead and get started on our cranberry orange relish. I have never made this before, and I was excited to try it because it had tons of good reviews. It's actually from the Ocean Spray website. And so I've just got my food processor. It's kind of a smaller one, so I had to do it in batches. But in batches, I'm just going to grind up my cranberries and my orange slices. Of course, just make sure you get any seeds out of the oranges. That one must have been a seedless orange or I guess anyway, because there was no seeds in it. But that was kind of nice. I didn't have to pick out all those out. But we're just going to chop this up. You just want it to be finely chopped. And we're going to put it in the bowl until we get all of it done. And then we're just going to add 3/4 to a cup of sugar. I think I added kind of close to a cup because I know that cranberries are really tart. I wasn't really sure what this would exactly taste like, but it was so fresh and bright, very good. And of course the cheesy potatoes were amazing. We love them so much. And I can't get over how much that stuffing surprised me, because I've always been a cornbread dressing, through and through. That's what I've got to have for Thanksgiving. But I really like that. And I actually think we've decided to change and go ahead and make the stuffing instead of dressing for Thanksgiving this year. And what I'm actually going to do is I want to get some sourdough bread and try it with that. And so I'm really excited to try that difference because I love sourdough bread. I think it'll be really good in it. And my daughter has always loved cornbread dressing, but she said she actually liked this stuffing better than cornbread dressing. So that shocked me too. So if you are a loyal cornbread dressing person, then definitely branch out, try something new, and you never know, you might like it. So let me know in the comments below what your plans are for Thanksgiving. I'd love to know if you're cooking, what you're cooking. Maybe if you have traditional dishes that are really special to your family, I'd love to know what those are. I know that Thanksgiving has always been one of my favorite holidays. I just really enjoy just the food, the family time, all of that. I've actually took off a couple of extra days around Thanksgiving, and so I'm excited to have a little extra time just to hang out with my family and just to kind of have a little bit of a breather. So that's going to be really nice, and I'm excited for that. I've just got a couple of days I need to work next week, and then I'll be off the rest of the week. So I'm excited to get to that. And thank y'all so much for spending a bit of your day with me. I appreciate it so very much. I hope y'all have a blessed day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.